Are we on? Did it end?
Yes, it ended.
Oh, look at that. It ended. Okay. So here we are. Again, everybody. Hello. My name is Kara, and I am one of the co founders of Nine Lives Paranormal, who is putting on The Hollow on October 4th in Boonton, New Jersey at the Boonton Elks Lodge, where we will be having a wonderful film fest with over 12 entries as of this point from all over the United States and Europe. And I am meeting today with my friend Spencer Schwendiman, who has his latest submission, Edgefield Road, which I'm extremely excited about. So without further ado, here's Spencer. Spencer, why don't you tell us a little bit about Edgefield Road and yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm Spencer Schwendiman. I have been producing and directing silly little short films for 8 years now under the name Bad Still Films. Edgefield Road. So Edgefield Road was a brainchild of me and a group of friends where one of my friends is a Taylor Nicholas, the star. She is all things spooky, so she has a little bit of ghost hunting experience and that kind of stuff. And then a few of my other friends just love playing like the Phasmophobia style games where you're ghost hunting in the game. So they said, "Well, is it possible to make a short film like this?" I was like, "I think so." And then I was listening to, but I couldn't write it. So I kept trying to write it, kept trying to write it, kept trying to write it. And nothing felt authentic. And so I was listening to a book that talked about movies that came out around the year 2000, and they started talking about the Blair Witch Project, how the Blair Witch Project was made, and the improv style that they did, and that kind of thing. And I was like, "Oh well, my friends are all improv actors. I can just write an outline, plan out where I want the scary bits to happen, and then let the improv actors go." And so we just found a random weekend where my friend bought a brand new house, and by brand new I mean built in the late 60s, early 70s, and things were falling apart. It had this horrifying room, and so we said, okay, this is perfect. Brought in my friend who loves to dress up like a ghost and let her kind of go nuts, and yeah, the rest is history. Made it on tiny little budget with just a group of friends in a basement. It was a lot of fun.
That's like, I think, the best. There's another submission that did the same thing, kind of in the vein of Kevin Smith, where they just cobbled it together with like a home recorder and like his friends. And, I think the results are way more authentic, you know.
Yeah.
I wrote a script and I'm trying to get my friends to do it the same way. It's just like I'm bringing my little camcorder. We're gonna do a found footage thing, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna have fun and we're just gonna write the outline. Like I wrote it, but we're not gonna hold hard and fast to it.
Well,
What
and
I
like
like,
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No. Go
Well, I
ahead.
was, I was just gonna say, like, the beauty of the found footage film is like it automatically adds authenticity to it, right? Like, and then when there are mistakes, you don't stop. You just keep going. You roll with the mistakes because it adds to the found footage nature of it. And so it was my first found footage film too. And so I was like, man, I love this. And Taylor texts me constantly. She's like, "Can we do another one, please?" Because like it was just me. Like I was the only crew. And
Mhm.
so you'll see me in the film a couple of times and you'll see my light on my camera, you'll see my mic on my camera, and that was it.
Right.
Um, and so it was just I coming from having worked on these huge sets right before and all the stress and people running around and all this stuff. I'm sorry. And all the stress of people running around and people trying to figure out what they should be doing and that kind of thing, to then just be five actors and a camera. It was so nice.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, the way that I was thinking of doing mine is make it look like it's like found footage, but make it do like it's like the security camera,
Mm,
doing it.
yeah,
So the perspective is even going to be from up here, because it's
love
like on
that.
the ceiling, and you're like kind of like watching, down what's happening, and then change the perspective of it to whatever. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Have somebody like flip to an iPhone camera or something like that, and you see him pull the camera up and you cut to that footage. That'd be
Yep.
so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it's there's so much you can do with it now. going into the content of the film, right? I had a smile on my face the entire time that I watched it, because being a paranormal investigator and having to work with influencers and watching influencers, it was so real, so real for all the influencers I know. But for some of them, it's like, we got that content, right? We got that content, and I'm actually doing a live tomorrow night. And so the big thing is getting the content right. And as a paranormal investigator, it's like you want to do the paranormal explanation and you want it all to be, real and authentic. But at the same time, that your popularity hinges on those views, and you straddle this line between entertainment and actual exploration.
Yeah.
And my dog's gonna bark. So I wanted, like, how did you, where did you get that reality part of it without being a paranormal investigator? Finding that dynamic, where did you get that?
So Rissa, who plays the influencer, she was a co-producer on the film as well. She came up with the idea for the influencer. She was like, what if we bring in a person who has been faking paranormal investigations, but then like gets caught, right? And so she needs the help to build her reputation back up. And then you have these paranormal investigators who need help getting their name out and making money. And so that was kind of that became the dramatic question of like, what happens if you bring a professional with a professional pretender? And honestly, I wish I could take credit for it, but it literally just came down to the chemistry that Rissa and Taylor had with each other and their characters had with each other. Because a lot of it was just, hey, what if we do this? Hey, what if we do that? But I wrote up just some character sketches and then I let them just go wild with them. And so all of that dynamic came from just two really good actors pretending to hate each other because one just wanted to get in and get out and thought that she was going to get this great show, and the other one was like, no, this is my job. And I do think a lot of that comes also from like this perspective that people have of where did my train of thought go? My train of thought ran off on me. But I do think like, a lot of it just came down to Taylor has done investigations before. She was her tag was let's go fright seeing, and so she would travel all over the place and she would go do those paranormal sites and that kind of thing, and she would explain the story behind it and that kind of stuff. And so she had a taste of what paranormal influencing would feel like. But then also being an actor, you live in a world where people don't take you seriously.
Right.
And so you have to wonder if part of that came into the equation as well. No, this is my profession. Please take it seriously. But yeah, all of it goes on to my actors. Like genuinely, that I remember sitting down and cutting it. The first rough cut. This is the only time I've cut a rough cut where I have smiled at the end. Like the only time that I've actually felt really good about a rough cut, and it's an incredible feeling. But it 100% comes down to Taylor makes you believe that she cannot stand Rissa. Rissa makes you believe that she cannot stand Taylor, and that the two of them are at complete odds with each other the entire film until the very end, right? And then there's this switch where the professional comes back out, and oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh God, it was really good. I mean, their expressions, the very, the sneaky eye rolls and the looking at the camera, like, do I really have to do that? Like I've been there, so I was like, I feel you, girl. It's like, I hear you,
That was our goal. That was our goal, was to represent, like, because as a paranormal investigator, people don't take it seriously.
Correct.
It's a thing that's very real, and it's
Right.
very real to a lot of people. And I think that Taylor helped bring a lot of that, like you said, that those microaggressions out
Correct. Right.
of, please take me seriously. I am doing you a favor.
Right.
Yes, you
Right.
are helping me,
Right.
but
And,
like, I am a professional.
right. And I'm so happy that you submitted this, because it is so relevant right now. And I don't know, if you follow paranormal drama and stories, but the fact that if you're aware that Matt Rife bought the Warren Museum, and that's
Which
been
isn't terrifying at all.
yeah, and there's a lot of discussion on this happening, and having such a huge media TikTok presence, being in charge of something that was by some of the paranormal communities so revered as the stepping stone as to what where we are today. And it lends, like like you said, you want people to take you seriously in what you're doing, but then it's like people look at it and say, okay, paranormal entertainment, it's like the WWE is to wrestling, and you got to find where you're going to sit on that line. And I think you captured it wonderfully, and I can't wait for everybody to view it and hear their reaction when we do the discussion after it. What do you think? Did the pieces just fall into place, or what was your biggest challenge doing it while making the film?
It honestly, it all kind of fell into place, and a lot of it comes down to planning, right? So the first two people I talked to were Ben, who plays the like uber serious investigator with all the gear and that kind of stuff,
Right.
and Kayla, who plays the ghost. So those were the two people who convinced me to start playing Phasmophobia, and we were talking about it. And from there, I said, okay, I know exactly who I need. I need Ben, who is the sweetest, kindest, most wonderful person on the planet, but he loves to just over-explain everything. So I need him to kind of play a jerk, who's just obsessed with this, right? And then I need Taylor, who's one of the best improv character actors I've ever met. I need Rissa, who just takes a character, makes it her own, and just runs with it. And then I need Skylar, who is one of the funniest people on the planet. Because I need comic relief.
Right.
I need this to all come together and feel like a paranormal investigation, because those are the people who you have. You have the people who are taking it too seriously, the people who don't take it serious at all, people are there for a fun time. And so all of it just came down to that planning, and that was the miracle, was literally just finding a weekend where all 5 of them could be in a room together with me in the middle of January, right? Like, please, can we all get into a room together, come from like 4 different parts of the state? And so that was the biggest challenge we had, because after that, once we got there, I was as a director, I was so blessed, because I literally just had to point the camera. And if I pointed the camera, they knew exactly what I needed and they delivered it. And there were times where it'd be like, I would hear something while I was recording over here, and I'd be like, oh crap, we got to do this again, because I need to whip over here. And I don't know. I just think like like I said with the rough cut, right? There are moments when you make a film and you look at it and you're just like, how the hell did I pull this off? Like, how? And this is one of those films where every time I watch it, I've watched it a lot. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, how did this actually all work? And so I think that was one of the craziest things about the movie, is that the biggest challenge came in post, because the effects kept crashing my PC. That was the biggest challenge. Like,
Yeah.
those camera glitches was absolutely murderous on my computer. But other than that, like everything was perfect. Oh, actually, Taylor fell on the stairs.
Oh,
I have a cut of Taylor when she starts to run up the stairs. She turns and says, "Go, go." We have a cut where she's standing there and then she just falls out of frame. That was the biggest challenge, was then continuing filming with she says a piece of her ass left on Rissa's.
oh gosh, yeah. But
So
yeah, injuries are actually pretty real. It's going around in the dark.
you're going to like dark and places people haven't been. It's dusty. It's slippery, and there's random stuff poking out. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's there's but there's like it's darkness. It's creek. It's like floorboards that are weak.
Well,
it's wildlife.
yeah, and your heart rate's up, like, and you're in fight or flight, and so the second flight kicks in, like disaster is bound to happen. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So now you mentioned that you had that your friends are improv actors. So did you and maybe I missed it, but I don't think I did. So in terms of your format, did you just write the outline and just let them go, and there was no scripting, or did you write it out with them ahead of time and said, this is my loose draft?
So I started a script,
Mm-hmm.
and every time I got to the argument between Taylor and Rissa, because it's found out why Rissa's there, and it's all very the backroom deal kind of nonsense. Every time I got to that argument, it was horrible. I could never make it work naturally. Everything sounded weird. The scares weren't working the way that I wanted them to, and so I almost scrapped the project entirely because I couldn't script it. And so then that's where the book about the Blair Witch Project comes in, where they explained, no, we just wrote an outline. And then we planned the scares, we planned the moments, and when they happened, we got the actors' reactions. I wasn't able to do it that far because it was just me.
Right.
But I wrote an outline for them. I said, this is how the chain of events that I want to happen. I wrote like 1.5 page character outlines for each of them so they could inhabit the character. Funniest part is the ghost has the longest character outline. I didn't write one out, and Kayla was like, well, where's mine? So I wrote her like this massive, horrible sob story about like why she's still in this house. And it was fun for me because then I'm like, oh yeah, that's why she's so pissed off. But yeah, I just gave him an outline. I let him go. There are a couple of places where like you can hear that we kind of scripted some dialogue of like what needed to be said.
Mm-hmm.
That was mostly on set, and it was me saying, hey, can you please work this into your conversation?
Right.
So, the film opens on a conversation between Ben and Taylor about why they want the influencer there.
Right.
And we scripted part of that. And that was mostly to help Ben, who is actually not an actor. This was his like first on-screen appearance. And he just needed to feel comfortable right at the beginning of filming. And after that, he just took it and ran, and it was great. So
that's fantastic. Now, I know I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but could you give a little bit of why the ghost is still in that house?
Yeah. So I came up with this. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a disease where your eyes will bleed.
Correct.
And so back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, I had this young girl, 15, 16. She had this disease her entire life. And from 8 to when she died at 16, she was not allowed to leave the house. And it was just a rotation of people coming in to exorcise her because they thought she was crying blood because she was a demon. And in the process, that animosity, that anger, that hatred for the religious process of the exorcisms, like put so much stress on her that it kills her, but it also turns her into what they were afraid she was. And so she only knows that house, right? Like for her entire life, she's only known that house. She's only had a few comforts in the world, one of them being there's a music box in the film very briefly. But that was one of her few comforts, so she doesn't want to leave the house. But a lot of it comes down to this absolute animosity. But then because she was a kid, there's still some playfulness to her. And so they talk about it a little bit in the film, but all the early reports are, oh, she's a playful, fun ghost, right? She's a fun ghost. Things are totally normal and fine. It's great. But then there's the turn. And so that's, I like to joke where for the first like 3/4 of the film, you're in a comedy where you're just watching these people bumble over each other and fight and all this stuff. And then there's a turn.
Right.
And so that's, she's just, we were playing with this idea of oppression and religious oppression. And, like it's very minimal because the audience doesn't know that, but we do. And so there are certain things that happen that then trigger the ghost to become violent. So
yeah, it's very interesting to see, and it's funny that you say that because one of the things that I do in terms of paranormal is I actually work with a church, and I do oppressions and exorcisms, and sometimes, like you said, I go into these places and I'm like, I don't know if this is the right approach because I think we're just pissing it off. It's like it's like you're using religion as a weapon, which is the complete antithesis of what people's religions are supposed to be. I was very happy to hear that story. And I had another question, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, you didn't really. Here it is. You didn't. I didn't hear a lot about your background in terms of film and where you're going next. So tell me a little bit about you and on your journey to become a filmmaker.
So I started as a journalist. I was a photojournalist for local news. But like I'm one of those people. We all say it, right? Like I've been obsessed with film my entire life. I was stealing my parents' camcorder at 3 years old and filming horrible little music videos over family videos. I was doing all these things where I just showed such a love for film and cameras and editing at a young age. So that was, early 90s. And then as technology started to get better, I was blessed to have access to pieces of equipment or software through different programs and that kind of stuff, where I just learned and learned and learned. Become an adult, realize, oh, that dream's not really something that's not attainable, so I'll become a journalist, right? Well, it's the same thing. Like I was not getting paid very well as a journalist. So but like the beauty of journalism was like I honed in some really valuable skills in editing and storytelling and visual storytelling, especially, and in cameras, and also one man showing it, right? And so I quit journalism, moved into film full time for a while, and just kind of worked my way through camera department and lighting department and that kind of stuff, and realized I loved working with actors. And so that's where directing and writing and producing started to kind of take over. Was just my love of discovering a character with an actor. Like there's no greater feeling than sitting down with an actor and handing them a script and they go, okay, give me the character background, and then they come in and they help you rework that character and bring that character to life. And then you show up on set and you just have to tell them where to point the camera. And I loved it. And so as a filmmaker, like most of my background just comes from being obsessed with story and obsessed with putting something on film, putting it in an editing software, and then showing it to somebody. Where I'm going.
Good question.
That's a good question. So I got a degree in journalism 8 years ago. I just went back to school, got a degree in film production. Just graduated, and so it's the world is my oyster. and right now I'm just doing a festival run for a bunch of films that I did, and planning the next one. Taylor wants to turn Edgefield into a full feature, so I have an outline for a full feature for Edgefield. And I'm gonna try and get it out before Blumhouse gets the Phasmophobia film out.
Nice. No, it's nice because I can see it as a full feature. The more you talk about it, it's like the more it's like, wow, there's a lot of depth that went behind this. It's like it can really be a good full feature.
No, all of those characters have such an amazing story that like would be fun to explore further, right?
Yeah.
And before I even filmed this one, I was like, oh, this would make a really good feature, and I could do it for cheap. That's the other thing. Right now, everything is so expensive, and so if I can sit down and literally just pay to feed people, pay for locations, pay for gas, and then hopefully like pay them like a very small base salary, but pay them a little bit. Small crew. Small crew. And I can get it done. And so we're working on the outline for that. I'm working on securing some locations for it. Whether it falls inside the same story as Edgefield, we're trying to figure out. But Edgefield would actually, the story of Edgefield would essentially be the climax of the feature film.
Right.
A lot of it would be building up to what happens in Edgefield. And so working on a feature film version of that. I have I just watched Freaky Tales.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's really good. It's an anthology.
Okay.
Is that what it is? When like it's a bunch of different stories that all connect together.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I've now outlined an anthology film that I want to try because it sounds like fun. And yeah, a couple other just ideas percolating in my head, but I don't know. I was joking with a friend. I am as a person, horror is one of those genres that I watch the least. Like I don't like scaring myself. But for some reason I keep being drawn to making these horror films. And I think a lot of it is because you can tell so much story inside of horror, and you can explore so many themes, you can explore so many incredible ideas and explore your own trauma. Everybody looks at it and they clap. Instead of sitting and writing, this 100-page monologue, I can go out and I can scare the shit out of somebody. And they're sharing in the trauma that I feel about something, or that my actors feel about something, that we're exploring the story. And so I love it. And so he looks at me and goes, Spencer, I'm sorry to tell you, but I think you're a horror filmmaker. I was like, I'm trying to force myself into action, force myself into being an action filmmaker. And my entire calling has been here the whole time. So I don't know. And Edgefield was kind of the nail in the coffin for that one, I think.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. It was realizing that, I have fun doing this.
Yeah.
I can't edit late at night alone because I start hearing things outside, but I have fun making it all the same. So.
Oh yeah, nothing like that. It's like you have insomnia because you're doing the editing, and at the same time you have insomnia because you're scaring the crap out of yourself. You're like, I can't sleep.
I made the mistake of cutting and doing the effects for that final scene in Edgefield at like midnight one night because I was just like, I just want to get it done. And I was up from midnight to 2, and I don't think I slept for I didn't sleep that night because I just kept hearing the sounds.
Yeah.
My brain was tricking me like, no, you're hearing it still. I'm like, I'm not, I promise.
Well, that's when you're really onto something too. It's like when it sticks with you and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just kind of like, I can't get it out of my head. That certain scene, that certain sound, that certain, that sticks with you.
In and out, and I don't know.
So where can people find you? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to add a banner. Let's see if I can do this. So where can people find you? I'll put it up here.
Everything that I do is under the name Bad Still Films. BADSTILLFILMS. It was a piece of critique that a professor gave me that I made a bad still life film, so I just made it my
hey, embrace it,
entire
man.
Identity. And so on Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, all the places, that's where you'll find me. Yeah. And so yeah, right now we're just putting some coals in the fire and hoping something sticks.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, yeah. I just hold on. Let's see if I could get this to go across the banner.
I was excited to hear that people like it. You know, it's kind of like having kids. You love your kids,
right.
Unconditionally. I love all of my films unconditionally. I know some of them are not good. And so like when people are like, yeah, that was great. I'm like, oh crap. So when putting Edgefield out, and we weren't going to do a festival run at first, but then I showed it to my co-producer and she's like, no, this is like, we need to get this out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
It was so nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, this is my baby. Like, I don't know.
I know. It's hard not to take it personally, but you know, but I could tell you that coming from the background of, you know, literally living that line between, you know, my online personality and my paranormal exploration and studies. It's like it's very good, and it's very true. I mean, for example, it's like I'm working on a study through one of the universities here in New Jersey on documenting and quantifying in a scientific way paranormal phenomenon that has happened on their campus. And they have 17 years of documented research that has gone into it. And so my team and I are adding on to that. At the same time, I have to do, like I said, I'm doing a live tomorrow where I'm doing, you know, and where there's going to be audience participation and interaction. And if people only see one side of it, you know, they lose some of the, you know, the magic, you know, of, and it's difficult. It's very difficult. All right. So I don't want to keep you. I don't want to keep you much longer. You know, get back to what you need to do on your daily basis. And
editing day.
Yeah, big editing day. Me too. So what I'll do is I will send this to you. If anybody has anything they want to talk to Spencer or me about, you can find us obviously at Bad Still Films, or you know where to reach me at 9livesparanormal.com. And I will send this to you. I might reach out to you for a statement that I will play before I show your film at the Hollow, and that's it. Okay, and I will be showing you on October 4th.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you guys to see this.
Thank you so much. Just wait one second.
Yeah.